When people hear the word Germany, history often snaps to attention. Wars, uniforms, borders drawn, erased, then drawn again. The noise is loud, and it echoes across textbooks and documentaries alike. But beneath that noise, something older and more enduring has always been moving. Long before Germany was a nation, it was an idea without a flag, a landscape of forests, rivers, and trading paths where tribes didn't march in formation but gathered, debated, argued, and adapted. These early Germanic peoples were not empire builders in the Roman sense. They were negotiators of survival. Power was personal, local, and fragile. Leadership depended less on conquest and more on trust. When Rome arrived at their borders, history recorded clashes and defeats. What it recorded less clearly was resistance through refusal. Many Germanic groups did not try to outroam Rome. They waited, they learned, they absorbed techniques, laws, and technologies, then reshaped them to fit their own world. This pattern would repeat for centuries. The Holy Roman Empire later carried the German name, but it was never a centralized machine. It was a web: cities, bishoprics, duchies, and free towns bound together by agreement rather than command. This fragmentation is often described as weakness. In reality, it created a laboratory of ideas. While other nations enforced unity, the German lands experimented. Universities emerged early and spread quickly. Printing presses multiplied. The Reformation exploded not because Germany was uniquely rebellious, but because it was uniquely prepared. Ideas could move faster than armies. Martin Luther did not conquer territory. He disrupted authority, and disruption became a defining German export. Centuries later, while Europe obsessed over crowns and colonies, German thinkers were busy dismantling reality itself. Immanuel Kant questioned how humans know anything at all. Hegel imagined history as a living process. Marx rewrote how people understood power and labor. These were not soldiers, yet their influence crossed borders more decisively than any army. Germany became a nation-state late, and when it finally unified in the 19th century, it did so with a strange tension. On one hand, industrial precision; on the other, philosophical doubt. Railways expanded, factories rose, and systems tightened, but beneath the steel, the old habit of questioning remained. This is where wars begin to dominate the story. They were catastrophic, undeniable, and devastating, but they were not the whole truth. Even during collapse, German society continued to produce ideas that would quietly rebuild the modern world. After the destruction of the Second World War, Germany lay physically broken and morally exposed. Many believed its influence was finished. Instead, something unexpected happened. Germany turned inward. It rebuilt not through dominance, but through design. Social systems, engineering standards, economic models based on stability rather than spectacle. The concept of a social market economy emerged, blending competition with responsibility. This model would later influence much of Europe. German manufacturing focused less on scale and more on precision. The world began to rely on things that simply worked, quietly, reliably. Education became a pillar. Apprenticeships were treated with the same respect as academic paths. This was not accidental. It echoed medieval guild traditions, adapted to a modern world. Once again, old structures were reshaped instead of erased. Even culturally, Germany remained a paradox. A nation cautious of nationalism, yet deeply invested in memory. Museums, memorials, and public debate became tools not of pride, but of restraint. Few countries institutionalized self-criticism so thoroughly. And yet, Germany's influence kept spreading. In philosophy classrooms, in engineering standards, in environmental policy, in the way modern states think about responsibility after failure. What makes this story easy to miss is its lack of spectacle. It doesn't march, it doesn't shout, it builds frameworks, it designs systems, it asks uncomfortable questions and refuses simple answers. Germany's real legacy is not a sequence of wars. It is a pattern of transformation. Absorb, question, rebuild, repeat. Interestingly, this quiet resilience echoes in places far beyond Germany itself. Finland, for example, a nation that also values education, restraint, and systems over spectacle, shares this understated approach to influence. Different histories, different paths, yet a familiar philosophy: strength without noise. History often rewards the loudest moments with the most attention, but the world we live in is shaped just as much by the silent ones. Germany's hidden story lives there, beneath the wars, beneath the ruins, in the ideas that outlived every empire built to silence them. And perhaps that is why its influence never truly disappeared, it simply changed form.